Hey guys, it's Doug here, coming to you with yet another video helping transform you from pawn to player in this game we call life. In today's one, guys, I'm going to be discussing the concept of spiritual bypassing and whether or not it is beneficial to include in our spiritual practice. So let's get right into it, guys. So for those who don't know, spiritual bypassing is the concept of using the spiritual principle of positive thoughts to completely bypass or ignore negativity in all of its forms. Now, this can be things that you don't like in your current situation, things you need to work on yourself, problems that you're just not handling because you only want to focus on positivity. Now, I've noticed when people first get into spirituality, and this was very true for me as well, as I'll share more throughout the video, when you first get into spirituality, this is a very common thing, only focus on positivity. And really what it is, it's an overcorrection from before you were spiritual, before you were awakened at all. We tend to just focus on negativity, damn near 90% of the time, right? It's constantly these negative loops, whether you're miserable at work or you're constantly thinking about all these things that happened in your past. So you go from being overly negative and then you overcorrect to being overly positive once you start learning about the power of positive thinking. Now, positive thinking, affirmations, the whole 9 yards are incredible and they are effective. However, we need to pair these, we need to just pair thoughts and words and intentions with action because we are in this virtual game. We are playing this game too, right? So we can't just wish, if a fire erupts in your house, you can posit, oh, I'll never be hurt. The fire will magically go out. But more realistically, guys, right? In that moment, you have to act. You either have to put out that fire if you have something handy, or you need to evacuate your house, right? Or whatever building you're in. Now, that's a pretty extreme example, but you see how positive thoughts alone would not help you in that situation. And again, it's an extreme example. So let's do something a little more common. Huge element of spiritual bypassing is in the law of attraction and manifestation community. A lot of the mainstream, so to speak, law of attraction and manifestation channels, if you first search that on Google or YouTube, most of the people who pop up promote kind of the idea that you almost have to do nothing. You just have to do the affirmations. You just have to chant this mantra. Just listen to this subliminal as you go to sleep. You're good. Right? That's not fully accurate, right? We have to pair these manifestations with an action, right? You can't just chant, I'm a millionaire on your bed and expect it to start raining dollar bills or expect a dump truck of money to land in your driveway, right? However, somebody who started a business is working on this side hustle and then is pairing that action with the affirmations. They're writing intentions in their journal at night. That's going to augment the action that they're taking. The person just sitting on their bed hoping for, a financial windfall. Now, I'm not saying it's not possible. It's obviously possible. Anything can happen to a certain extent. However, it is far more practical to pair that with actual action. Sorry about that. But going back to spiritual bypassing, it's the same kind of idea, right? You can't solely be positive and expect your life to get better. There's a lot of complacency in the world today. And if you think about why this is so popular in the spiritual community, the idea of not tackling anything negative, not going after any of these problems, and never ultimately improving, is the idea, if you think about the opposing team that's really just trying to dumb down and control humanity, if they can just teach you to be complacent, isn't that the best? That's what they want, right? So anything that's really just saying, yeah, just be complacent, you're good, that's really kind of a very misleading teaching. Because, yes, you are always going to be fine. You should stay as positive as possible. However, if you need to take care of something, you should take care of it. Whenever you ignore a problem, it just keeps growing until you're forced to deal with it. It gets worse and worse. So rather than letting everything snowball until you have a giant red alert on your hands, if you nip these things in the bud early, anything you want to handle in your life, it just goes so much smoother because it hasn't escalated. So anything you repress, anything you don't handle, it's only going to get worse. So you ideally want to fix it as soon as you can. And as you're fixing it, focus on the positives. Focus on what you're trying to change. Focus on, transmuting this current thing into the positive thing. But you also have to acknowledge the negativity or the dark thing in front of you as well. Another huge thing, about this opposing team, you can fall down the rabbit hole of conspiracies, right? Where you get, oh my God, the money system, and all the, the medical industry, all of that stuff, that's incredibly negative. Now, it's important to be aware of it, right? You should know, okay, the Federal Reserve is corrupt in a dozen different ways, and you want to be knowledgeable about that so you're not completely taken advantage of. However, you don't want to just sit there stooping all day because you're being taxed and all of this stuff. It does suck. However, you want to keep going and be positive. So it's ultimately like just about anything else in spirituality. It's about the perfect balance. You want to know about darkness. You want to be able to handle and look at darkness. And you certainly, but you don't want to get enveloped in it, and you don't want to completely bypass it either. If you bypass it, you're never going to learn, you're never going to improve yourself, and the problems and situations in your life that you don't enjoy are only going to snowball and get worse. So young business-minded, I really hope that answered your question. It's interesting concept. I never heard the term bypassing before. However, this is a very common concept in spirituality. So I was very familiar with it. As soon as I looked this up, I was like, oh, of course, okay. So to answer your question, though, Young, I would say you do want to focus on positivity, but be aware of the negative things in your life and in your environment. Don't dwell on them, but focus on a positive way that you can improve those things. And that's the ultimate balanced way of handling this type of situation or concept. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please comment down below with any video suggestions you have, any topics you'd like me to discuss, any times in your own life where you caught yourself spiritually bypassing something. Because it's kind of interesting to hear other people's stories, because we all do it in some way. In different ways. So it's kind of interesting because as we see that in other people, we can try to avoid repeating those things in ourselves. So it really help everyone out if you just kind of comment down below with your own experiences. Share the video. Really helps me out, helps the channel grow, helps disseminate good information to good people. It's an awesome thing. Subscribe for more videos. Tons more coming out. And until next time, guys, have fun and take it easy. See you guys.